Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead, and I want to talk about an interesting topic that I've been thinking about, and that is the Commonwealth and the CRM. Now, the CRM have already been established in The Walking Dead to some extent. There's still a lot that we don't know about them, but we have learned a lot about them over the last or just a lot recently with The World Beyond, but they've been teasing them for the past couple of years. And then now we're getting into the Commonwealth era for The Walking Dead season 10 and season 11. And I want to discuss these two groups because they are similar in a lot of ways, but also different. And I'm not sure if other people have felt like this, but I know that I have been really, thinking if they are connected in any way. And I've touched on it a little bit throughout my videos. If you watch my videos, like whenever I talk about the Commonwealth and I bring up the CRM, I sort of talk for like 30 seconds or a minute about how they may be related. And I don't really go too much in depth because I want to go back and focus on whatever I was talking about in that video. But I decided to make a video just talking about the Commonwealth and the CRM and breaking some things down about them based on what we know from the comics. And then also everything that we've learned from the TV shows, including obviously the main show and in The World Beyond, and then also Fear the Walking Dead, because we also did see the CRM in Fear the Walking Dead. Now, when it comes to the comics, the CRM doesn't exist in the comics. So when it comes to the comics, I'll be talking about the Commonwealth and what we know about them. Now, I won't talk about any certain plot points, like any specific plots or anything like that within the Commonwealth, just like a general idea of who they are. So there's a lot with this video, obviously, breaking down the CRM and the Commonwealth, talking about how they may be related, how that fits into, the future of the show. So with all that being said, obviously, general spoiler warning for all three shows. And in the comics as well, I guess. I won't be talking about plots or anything like that, but, just in case. And then, other than that, let's get into the video. So like I said, the big question that I've been wondering is if there's a connection between the Commonwealth and the CRM. And I'll tell you my hypothesis right off the bat. And that is, yes, I think there is a connection. And I think the CRM has to know about the Commonwealth. Just because of how powerful they are. But the Commonwealth also is a very powerful group. Now, the CRM, like I said, doesn't exist in the comics. This is like an original thing by AMC because they're expanding their universe and making spin-offs and movies and all that kind of stuff. But a general rundown, the CRM, they're called the Civic Republic Military, or the CRM for short. They have about 200,000 people, which is, the biggest community, if you even want to call it a community. Maybe you could just say a civilization. They're the biggest civilization we've seen so far in the Walking Dead universe. And they're so big that we've seen them in all three shows. Obviously, The World Beyond is focusing on them, but then we also have seen them on The Walking Dead, starting in season 8, and they were the ones who took Rick away. And then also we saw them in Fear the Walking Dead, both in season 5 and 6, when it comes to Althea, because she has a connection with Isabel, who is a CRM soldier. And we'll talk more about her in a little bit as well when we get to that part of the video. But yeah, they are a huge community. I believe they have multiple bases, if you will, locations, civilizations. They have one in Nebraska, which is where The Walking Dead World Beyond is taking place. They have one in Oregon, because we learned that in the series. So they might have other ones, other places, and I'm assuming they do. And when the character Elizabeth Kublik, when she had that episode, we learned about the health and welfare center, and we learned about their homes where they have televisions and power and fans and coffee makers, and they have all this stuff. That episode is where she said that we have 200,000 people here. So that 200,000 people may actually just be in Nebraska. They potentially may have way more people in other locations. But remember, they said, so she said they're in Nebraska, but she mentioned Oregon. And Oregon is all the way on the other side of the, country. Oregon is in the West Coast. So it kind of shows how much ground they've covered. And that also is another reason why I think they have to know about the Commonwealth. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Commonwealth. So the Commonwealth is very similar to the CRM in terms of just being different, compared to everyone else. Because when the Commonwealth, I feel like when the Commonwealth showed up in the comics, we sort of got that idea of like what the CRM is to the show. So they have like 50,000 people. They also have multiple communities. I don't think the Commonwealth is spread out like all around the country or maybe even all around the world like the CRM is. Um, they are mainly located in Ohio, but they have like multiple bases there. And again, they have 50,000 people. And I don't know if the show is going to stick with that Ohio location. I feel like they may. It's just that that's kind of far away from where the Walking Dead people are, so they just may have traveled there. But I feel like they may stick with that. But the point is, they're like a huge community as well. Like we've never seen a community with 50,000 people, not even close. Especially like, if you just read the comics, like this was like so different. On the TV show, we're a bit more prepared for it because we have already seen the CRM. Well, that is if you even watch The World Beyond. Maybe some people didn't even watch The World Beyond, and then when they see this community, they'll be shocked that they have like 50,000 people. But the Commonwealth also have a huge civilization. They have like bakeries and ice cream shops and restaurants, and they have like a class system. They have a lot of stuff there, so it's like something very similar, or like you're trying to recreate what it was before the apocalypse. Now here's where things get interesting. So we have the CRM, they're in Nebraska, right? But they have been in areas of Texas, which is Fear the Walking Dead, Virginia, and then like I said, all the way on the west coast, at Oregon. And I believe Virginia is further east than Ohio. So if the Commonwealth are in Ohio, the CRM must know about them, right? I mean, it's possible to go to Virginia, where The Walking Dead and, where Rick's location is, without going to Ohio. But all I'm saying is that because the CRM is so spread out, I feel like they must have seen the Commonwealth. In the Commonwealth, this is where it gets tricky because the Commonwealth doesn't seem like they're just another community who they could trade food with, like with Jadis. The Commonwealth seem like they're standing on their own. So that kind of makes me think, like, are they allies or are they enemies? Because I know, like I said, the CRM is probably much bigger, but the Commonwealth definitely is a community that doesn't need the CRM. They kind of stand on their own. But regardless of that fact, I still think the CRM has to know about the Commonwealth because it would just be shocking if they know about Rick and, probably his community, and they know about the scavengers, and they know about Fear the Walking Dead people. Remember, Isabel went there. We had that whole episode with Isabel and Althea. And if you remember, Isabel from Fear the Walking Dead was out getting supplies. That's the whole reason she was out there. So it kind of just shows how far they travel for supplies. I'm assuming they go to a lot of different states, and I'm sure they're trying to cover like all of North America, or I don't know if they can go overseas. That's something that we might have to wait and see if they can. But it looks like they're traveling all over for supplies, which I feel like it would be kind of hard to miss the Commonwealth, especially since they've been to Virginia area. Now there are some differences between the CRM and the Commonwealth. The CRM seem to be focused a lot more on the future. Now the Commonwealth is also focused on the future, but like in a different way. Like the Commonwealth want to rebuild civilization back to what it was before the apocalypse, but it seems like the CRM actually want to fix the apocalypse. I don't think the Commonwealth really want to do that, as far as I know, because in the comics, Robert Kirkman made it clear that his comic wasn't about finding a cure. It was about people surviving and rebuilding in the apocalypse. Now, AMC obviously, having a good hit with The Walking Dead, have created spin-offs and stuff like that, so they are going to be focusing on the cure. I think they are. I don't know if other people feel like this, but the whole thing we saw in The World Beyond with them doing experiments, that for me, that sounded like they're trying to figure out some cure. And then we also had that character Hope, who was, apparently important to them. They needed her for some reason because of one of their experiments. It's pretty ironic that her name is Hope. I don't think that was a coincidence. So that's what I mean. Like, to me, it seems like the CRM are focusing on a cure, while the world beyond is just focused on rebuilding civilization. And the CRM is also doing that, but the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm curious to see if the show will change it a little bit, in which the Commonwealth are, going to be talking about a cure. I don't know if they will. I mean, I don't think they will. I think they're going to stay true to the comics, because that is what the TV show is. It's going to stay true to the comics, which is also why it's ending in season 11. Which is frankly, a good thing, that they stick with the comics. But for me, it's hard to see the CRM not knowing the Commonwealth. I mean, although they're very similar, so they may not like each other. They might be enemies. Who knows? Like, they even have like the full-on body armor, both of them. So they are very similar in a lot of ways. So it would be interesting to see if they aren't related, or if, I mean, maybe they still know each other, but maybe they aren't friendly. Maybe they're not working together, or maybe they are working together. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about that. But the bottom line is that I think the CRM knows the Commonwealth. I mean, if you look at the geography of the CRM, how could they not know about the Commonwealth? That's my question. And maybe this comes into play in the future of the show, because I'm assuming by the end of season 11, like, I'm assuming the group will know, or at least some people on the show will know about the CRM. And maybe the Commonwealth come into play with that. I know there's characters on the show and characters who can just come and tell them, other characters, but maybe the Commonwealth are going to be that group that tells them about the CRM. Who knows? It's very, very exciting to think about. But again, this is obviously just a discussion video. I don't know all the answers. So I just wanted to make this video highlighting, both communities and seeing what you guys think. So with that being said, I am going to wrap it up there for this video, and leave it to you guys. I'm very, very interested in hearing your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Do you think the CRM knows the Commonwealth? And if you do you think they're friendly with one another? Do you think they're enemies? Because again, the Commonwealth don't really need the CRM. They could definitely stand on their own. So you guys let me know what you think about that. But again, I'm gonna wrap it up there for this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating. Again, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to hit the subscribe button, because we have a lot of Walking Dead content coming up. Again, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Please take care, and I'll see you guys soon.